All right, what's going on, guys? I am Kadarius Washington, and this is the Sports Rundown. So as you can see, no paper bag over my head this week, as somehow, some way, my Panthers won. Our boys won. We avoided disaster. We came back from a 17-0 deficit to defeat the Miami Dolphins 27-24, and now somehow we're 2-3 and just one win away from being 500, but that's going to be a tough ask next week as we go up against the Dallas Cowboys. But one of the stories in this game was the former Cowboy, Rico Dowdle. Listen, our run game has just not been good this year, but Rico Dowdle, coming in for the injured Chuba Hubbard, had the game of his life yesterday. 23 carries, 206 yards, and a touchdown. Just 5 yards from D'Angelo Williams' single-game rushing record. Now, whenever you're mentioned in the category of D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, a.k.a. Double Trouble, you're doing something special. Incredible game for him and for our rushing game altogether, as we outrushed Miami 239-19. Wow, that is crazy. And Bryce Young, listen, this game honestly felt very eerily similar to the Cardinals game. Because with Bryce Young, I saw the play where the defender was coming toward Bryce and he just laid down and fumbled the ball, which already had me upset. And then on the very next possession, he threw a pick. And then I just said, oh my gosh, here we go again. Here we freaking go again. But then just like the Cardinals game, like I just mentioned, Bryce Young came back. 198 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. One of those touchdowns, passing touchdowns, went to Xavier Legette, who apparently had some confidence issues coming into the game, and understandably so. And the bus narrative was apparently starting to get thrown onto Excel. And then he caught that touchdown and was visibly relieved that he caught it. And then, of course, in the fourth quarter, Rico Dowdle found the end zone from 3 yards out. And then the very next possession, we give up that 46-yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle. And I was like, of course we give up that touchdown. I mean, it felt like it was going to be once again so close, yet so far. And then, of course, the Irishman, shout out Notre Dame, Mitchell Evans with the game winner, and that was pretty. And then, of course, on Miami's last drive there, Pat Jones came up with a huge sack on Tua Tagovailoa on 3rd and 10, and then on the last drive, after running it for 2 straight plays, I was begging for Bryce Young not to throw the ball on 3rd down because we could pretty much run out the clock to like 20 seconds or something like that. I forget how much time we had on that last possession. And then Jack Jones from Miami got called for pass interference on Hunter Renfrow on that 3rd down, and that was pretty much the game there. And we took knees, and that was all she wrote. And Teteroa McMillan once again led the team with receiving 73 yards there, but we have got to get Teteroa his first receiving touchdown. But anyway, I honestly think it's a little strange to think that this team is undefeated at home this year. But anyway, we've got the Cowboys coming up next week, like I just mentioned. And, of course, Dallas coming off that 37-22 win over the lowly Jets. But listen, folks, as a Panthers fan, after all we've been seeing from these last couple of years and so, and all the hope and all of the, well, really false hope anyway, that this team has brought us over these last couple of years, I just can't find myself to trust him. Now, look, it was a good bounce-back win for Bryce after I came on last week screaming that I was done with the dude, but I need to see more of it. And also, less turning the ball over. We don't need him becoming another Jake Browning, who all he did was turn over the ball yesterday against Detroit. And also, our defense, listen, I don't know whether our defense wants to be good or wants to be bad, but one thing that kind of works for us is that the Cowboys defense stinks this year, and plus we're at home, which somehow we are undefeated at home. But as I stated previously, this should be a winnable game coming up against Dallas, but I don't know. But it was a good win this week for us against Miami. A good win indeed. Like, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell to be notified of when I post again, and also follow me on Twitter and on Bluesky at CW Talk Sports. That's CWTALKS Sports, and I will see y'all the next time. Peace.